excuse. Join PVA and be part of the solution. Honor the spot.
Join Megan Henderson, Chris Schaubel, and Henry DiCarlo. Watch Off the Clock, weekdays at 2 on KTLA5, LA's very own. Looking to break out of the friend zone? Better call Charlie Harper, relationship counselor.
The trick with women is to split them off from the herd one by one. Otherwise, they spook and you risk a stampede.
Dr. Harper always knows how to get you over the hump.
You're a saint for having sex with my brother.
On 2.5 Men, weeknights at 7:30 on KTLA5.
Broadcasting across the Golden State, this is Inside California Politics.
Thanks for joining us for Inside California Politics. I'm Nikki Lorenzo in Sacramento. Frank Buckley is off this week. Former President Donald Trump has been indicted once again on criminal charges. This time, the former president faces felony charges related to the 2020 election and subsequent storming of the Capitol by his supporters. Trump appeared in court Thursday pleading not guilty in response to a 4-count indictment accusing him of trying to overturn the results of the 2020 election. That indictment, announced by special counsel Jack Smith on Tuesday, alleges Trump made false claims surrounding the results of that election and made efforts to pressure local election officials to undo election results. The indictment also accuses Trump of trying to pressure then Vice President Mike Pence to stop the certification of the election results. This is the third criminal indictment for the former president. In March, New York State filed charges against Trump surrounding an alleged hush money scheme. And in June, the Justice Department filed federal charges related to classified documents found at his Mar-a-Lago home. Trump could also face charges in a fourth case where Georgia prosecutors are investigating alleged efforts by Trump and his allies to reverse the election results from 2020 there. Before Trump, no former U.S. president had ever faced criminal charges. Joining us now on Inside California Politics, constitutional law expert and Loyola Law professor Jessica Levinson and Republican political strategist Rob Stutzman. Jessica, Rob, we have our third indictment of the former president this week. This is involving his alleged involvement in the January 6th attack on the Capitol. Jessica, I want to start with you. Take us through the highlights of this latest indictment. What sticks out to you?
What sticks out to me is really a consistent narrative that Special Prosecutor Jack Smith have told of the former president trying to undermine the election and doing that in a few ways. One is that the indictment really highlights the scheme of the fake electors, this allegation that the former president and his advisors tried to find people who were not actually electors to imposter electors, to be fake electors, and to try and vote in the Electoral College, even though the states that they purported to represent didn't go for Trump. Another thing that really sticks out for me, which of course we knew from listening to the House Select Committee on January 6th, is how much pressure was put on Vice President Pence to try and go outside of his constitutional authority and to stop the certification of the result. And then the third kind of bucket that really sticks out to me legally is this civil rights statute that's cited, where it actually is a statute that was enacted right after Reconstruction, and it was meant to prevent Southern whites and members of the Klan from using violence to prevent Black people from voting. And that's cited because if those two schemes I just mentioned had been successful, it would deprive individuals of their right to a honest counting of their vote. So those are the legal highlights for me when it comes to this indictment.
All right, so this is always, as we say, a legal story and also a political story, Rob. So let's talk about the fallout. I almost want to put that in air quotes because this is our third indictment. The president's former president's poll numbers have continued to be strong, and if you follow him on his social media, keeps saying, keep indicting me. This just makes me stronger.
Yeah, so he believes, and the evidence would suggest that at least at the moment that that's probably the case. I have a concern politically, not on the merits of the indictment, but politically, this helps the president make the case and his allies that the DOJ is politically weaponized against him, mainly because this indictment, he actually has plausible defenses that he can present, whereas the Mar-a-Lago documents case looks pretty open and shut, like a crime. So I'm worried that the political fallout from this will continue to solidify his support amongst primary Republican voters who clearly believe that he is being persecuted by a politically